This program contains graphic material, including offensive language. Viewer discretion is advised.
Let me hear you scream. It's the Worldwide DJ Coalition.
Yeah. I saw the thing set. BDSIR Network, the best damn show in World One Radio. Welcome to a new feature up on this YouTube channel. You see me? RePPiN4U Rewind. Every month, this is how it goes down. We choose three classic albums, right? From over the years, three classic hip-hop albums. We might change it up as the months go along, we'll see, right? And then we bring it to you, the audience, the people, to choose which album we are going to revisit, okay? That's how it goes, man. And then we're just going to share our best stories, our favorite moments from the album, all that good stuff, man. We are here just to, simply put, celebrate music. You see me? My name's Grant Body P. Acknowledge me. Say it to me. I got the man called DJ Shadfather. The face got revealed, game got real. How you doing, sir? This is the guy behind the Cocktail and Wine dancehall mixes you hear on RePPiN4U. How you doing, sir?
Good, man. I'm glad to be here and share some knowledge on this thing we call hip hop.
This beautiful thing we call hip hop, man. Yeah, that is exactly right. You know what I mean? Also, we are also joined by Vintage Soundz. Acknowledge him. The man called Big O. What's going on, sir?
Man, everything's good with me. Glad to be here. Glad to talk about, hip hop and talk about this classic album.
That's right, man. That's right. What a classic it is, man. What a classic it is. And special guest in the building, man. You know what I mean? We can't do the first show without the history of hip hop himself. You can check him out on the Mixcloud and all of that, man. You know what I mean? The history of hip-hop each and every time. The man called Double J. What's going on, sir?
Yeah, I'm cool, man. Good to be here, man. Thanks for the invite.
Not a problem, man. Not a problem. I had to send for you, man. It's a special moment, man. So this is what me, Big O, and Shadfather did, right? Prior to the show going up. We each chose an album that meant something dearly to us, right? So Shad, he chose Dr. Style by Snoop Dogg. Big O's chose Dr. Dre 2001 album because it meant a lot to him. And I chose Raekwon, Only Built for CUBAN LINX because it meant a lot to me. Put it out there. Did it get that much votes? Not too sure. The algorithms wasn't working properly. I don't know. But turns out Raekwon won the votes. You know what I mean? Now, people might say it's biased because I'm a Wu-Tang fan or whatnot, but that's what happened. You know what I mean? I wasn't even expecting to talk about Only Built for CUBAN LINX, but that's the album we're kicking it off with. You know what I mean? So that's how that goes, man. So Double J, you're a special guest, right? So I'm gonna let you start it off. You know what I mean? My question to you is real quick. In fact, to everybody, August 1st, 1995, and what that day? Do you remember where you were that day?
Where I was that day was outside the local HMV, 20 years old. So I was living in Crewe at the time.
Yeah. You have to explain what HMV is. There's some people that probably don't know what a HMV is.
So HMV is like, it used to primarily do music, but now it does DVDs, it does merch, it does vinyl, it does everything music related, everything nerd related nowadays. You can go in there and buy a vinyl player, buy vinyl. You can buy speciality, like the pop figures and stuff like that. All the nerd stuff on the shelf behind me you could probably buy in HMV. That day I was in front of HMV waiting for it to open to buy this album. I was excited for it.
You was aware. You was aware that this album was coming August 1st, 95.
Yeah, because the year before that movie Fresh came out, and Heaven and Hell was on the soundtrack. So I was like, Raekwon is, and then obviously you saw in the press that his album was coming and the date that it was dropping. So yeah, I was there first in line to buy the album.
Brilliant, man, brilliant. And then you bought that album. Did you get? Was it CD, vinyl, cassette?
I bought the CD. I bought the CD.
You bought the CD. So I mean, that's when if you bought the CD. That was back in the days when you bought the CD. You had the privileges, man, because you had the bonus tracks. It actually meant something, man. You know what I mean? So that's what that was, man. Why? August 95, same question. Do you remember that day?
You know what? I remember it, but I didn't buy it. I was with my auntie, and that album was the soundtrack to the life she was living at the time. R.I.P. to her.
Wow.
Yeah. So I was over there. She was keeping me, and she was playing this, and she had it on tape. And it's one song, even as a kid, that stuck out to me because between my auntie and between my granny keeping me, Heaven and Hell, that shit stuck out to me because of the sample, the Sly Johnson sample, and that's one of my granny's. That's one of her favorite artists, and she had their stuff. And every time she will keep me, she'll always play a record by Sly Johnson. So when I heard Heaven and Hell, I would rewind it back on the tape just so I could hear it over and over and over. Even as a kid, I loved that record. That was one of the most standout records to me. Now, as I got older, the whole album just made sense to me, and I loved the hell out of it. It's one of my favorites out of the solo discography of Wu-Tang.
For real though. Shadfather, same question. August 1st, 95. Where were you?
In terms of this music shit and listening to the album or waiting for the album, I wasn't listening to it. I wasn't anticipating it. One of the reasons why I wanted to do this show is because there's a lot of music out there that I haven't heard. I'm unaware of. I do need to be educated, and I'm willing to be educated. And this is probably one of the albums, probably a good place to start for me because I didn't know nothing about it. I know of the album. Back in the day, I flicked through some of the tracks, but listening to start to finish, I'll probably have a lot different view than you guys because you guys were there and waiting for it, while I was just I was on my West Coast shit, man. That's me, man. I'm on my West Coast shit, so I was listening to Doggy Style and Dogfather at them times, I'm guessing. So yeah, I'm interested to hear you guys' story and what you feel on the tracks.
The other guys will be able to tell you when you listen to the album, listen to it from start to finish.
I have.
All right, because you could tell he kind of lays it out like a movie all the way through. So it's good to listen to from the beginning to the end.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm. Obviously, that's all gone back and done now, and yeah, I have some thoughts on each track as I was ready to jump into it. I'll let you know, but I'm sure it will be a lot different to you guys. Yeah, this is from someone who was brought up on West Coast music, so
I'm right there with you, man. Because like with my aunt, she was all East Coast, and with my mom living with her, it was all West Coast. So she used to throw the house parties and had nothing but people downstairs, and I used to hear Doggy Style and the Chronic just come up through the floor, which I was supposed to be in bed. But, yeah, so I can hear that. I can hear that shit. So I always gravitated towards the West Coast too.
Okay. Quick question. When you bought the album, did you buy the album? Did you say you bought it?
Oh, not when it came out. I end up actually buying it years later. I say like 2000 or so.
Right.
Yeah.
So was that CD or vinyl?
No, that was CD.
CD as well.
Yeah.
Okay. So quick story how I came across Raekwon. For me, it was an accident. You know what I mean? It was a legit accident. It wasn't like Double J now where he knew August 1st, 95, he was coming for that album. He woke up that morning and thought like, that's it, I'm coming for this album. It wasn't like that for me at all. It starts off similar where I knew about Heaven and Hell because it was off that soundtrack. And I remember the video. I remember the video I used to play on Yo MTV Raps. Good times, man. Good
Yeah.
times. Good times. So yeah, I knew about that, but I wasn't aware that Raekwon was actually dropping an album, and it still didn't click to me because I was listening to Tim Westwood or whoever it was at the time on Radio One, and I was hearing new Raekwon tracks, but didn't realize it was Raekwon's music. Do you know what I mean? It was Raekwon's tracks. I didn't even realize. It still wasn't clocking on to me that he was dropping an album. So anyway,
I do have a question. Sorry, like whose album actually is this? Is it a Raekwon album or is it a Ghostface album?
It's a Raekwon album.
Okay.
Guest starring Ghostface.
Okay.
Yeah, that's the official thing of it. Yeah.
Okay.
So now,
got it.
right. So now it still wasn't clocking on to me. I still wasn't clocking on. So the day was coming, but at that time, I don't know if you guys did. Did you guys did like work experience at school? By that, the school sends you off to a place of work. You work there for like a week or two, but you don't get paid.
We had that, but I didn't get a chance to participate.
Right. Did you get that, Double J?
Was you locked up? I feel like there's a story behind that.
No,
prison still experience, if that's where you were. Man.
Yeah, did you get that, Double J? Did you get like work experience from school or whatever?
Yeah, I did work experience. Yeah, I did 2 weeks in a bank.
Right. Okay. 2 weeks in a bank. Okay. Did you get paid for it?
No, it was just through school. So no.
What about you, Shad?
Place, man, but I didn't get no money.
You didn't get paid? Okay.
We were just supposed to get paid. Yeah, my school owed me some money by the sounds of it.
Well, by right or originally, you're not supposed to get paid. If you're a school student and you have work experience for a week or two, you're really not supposed to get paid. But where I worked, I think I worked for some manufacturing company or whatever. I can't remember what. But anyway, I actually got paid. I actually got paid like £30 or something like that. I was like, wow. So I said to my friends at the time, I was like, I'm gonna buy my first album, my very first album, because I already had a Walkman and I had a lot of like cassette tapes, but tapes off the radio or whatever, right? It wasn't an official album. So I said, I'm gonna buy my first album, but I didn't know what I was gonna get. I go to Ruby Red Records. It wasn't HMV for me. It was Ruby Red Records, Wolverhampton. And the Raekwon album just happened to be there. And it was the 1st of August, 95, not realizing or anything that, he's dropped an album or anything. And my friends that was with me, that was on to me, like, you got to get Raekwon album. Raekwon, get the Raekwon album. Because I was very close to getting something else. Very close. And then what was the deciding factor was the albums I was originally after had about 11 or 12 tracks, and it was $8.99 for the cassette, because I was buying it on cassette tape.
Mm-hmm.
And I saw Raekwon's album, and it had like 18 tracks. Well, 17, because it didn't have North Star Jewels on the cassette tape. I was like, raw, so I can have 17 tracks for the same price that I would have got for 12. Well, you know what? I'm going to get Raekwon's album. I'm getting value for money. That's the way I saw it. I bought it completely by chance. Took it, I didn't take it home. Put it in the Walkman. Paper round. Strap the bag around my shoulder. I'm going to deliver Express and Star papers. Okay. I listened to that album. I was like, oh, wait. Didn't realize it was purple. I was like, raw, the first cassette tape is purple. Wow. I didn't know if it was a normal thing or not. It was purple. I was like, wow, this must be a special tape or something. Remember now, it was a hot day in August, 1st of August. It was a hot day. I'll never forget it as long as I live. When we put in the tape now and I'm delivering papers.
Melted your tape.
Brother! When Knucklehead starts, no, not even Knuckleheads. Striving for Perfection. I misunderstood. I was 15 years old. I misunderstood the beginning, right? And Ghostface says, "Oh, this is my last time, God. I'm hanging this shit up if this shit don't work, God." I was like, oh shit, this is the last album? That's what I thought it was. Oh shit. I thought, oh shit, this album has to be good. If this album's not good, that's it. No more Ghostface, no more Raekwon, no more Wu-Tang. That's what I thought. I misunderstood the beginning. Knucklehead comes on. Bam, 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 bam. I was like, Lord! First rewind of the day. First rewind. Knuckleheads. Jesus Christ. Goosebumps. The Goosebumps. I can feel the Goosebumps already, man. Enough about me, man. Double J, what was the first tune that you can remember that gave you goosebumps? Because I could keep going.
The first tune that gave me goosebumps was Rainy Days. Not because of the track itself, even though I love the track. It's because the album is centered around that movie, The Killer. And I love that movie. I've always loved that movie. So when it had, at the beginning, when it had that quote from the woman, I play for him, but he isn't here. I was like, oh man, I love this film. I love how this album's centered around this film. So that was my track. And then obviously Raekwon comes in. Oh man, someone robbed my gate, man. I'm gonna murder somebody and all this. And I was like, and then the woman starts singing in the background. I was just like, yes, man, this is the one. So that's the tune I was rocking with at first. But obviously one of them albums where, do you know what I mean? Every track is so good that your favorite changes over time. So it's not my favorite now, but when I first got into the album, that was the tune that I was playing the most, I think.
Rainy Days. Oh, I've got a story about that one, man. What was the first track from Only Built for Cuban Linx that you can remember that gave you goosebumps?
Well, it was what I said earlier, Heaven and Hell. Heaven and Hell just did it for me because it took me back to me being babysit by my granny and listening to the original song and then listening to what, you know, RZA did with that beat. So that one did it for me. As I got older, it turned into Incarcerated Scarfaces. I just love, now I'm talking about beat. I love the way that shit was structured and the way it was structured and how RZA just orchestrated the instrumental on it. It just took me away. Same thing with Verbal Intercourse. So, you know, those were the most standout tracks for me as a producer with a producer ear.
Yeah. So, you know, at that time, was you developing a producer's ear, or was you not a producer yet?
Nah, see, well, back in the day, I was just a fan of it because I remember I used to watch Yo MTV Raps and everything, and I learned the hard way with trying to DJ and shit on my grandma's turntable. She knocked the fuck out of me, but I deserve it. You're not supposed to do that as a kid, but I didn't have a production era at the time. I just loved what I was seeing, and when she was playing Thriller, I just went, and that was it. But I just fell in love with I love the sound, but I wasn't on the whole making music until 99 kicked in.
Right. So, tell me something. When you got caught, how did the punishment go?
Bro, it was bad because she was like I love my granny, you know, rest in peace to her, but she was playing Thriller, and she still played her records. She was still, you know, playing it real loud when she she babysitted her grandkids. So me watching Air Lover and Dr. Dre on Yo MTV Raps, I go over to a turntable and she was playing Human Nature, and I just went over there. I just took my hand and just put it directly on the turntable, and I brought this shit back, and Granny wasn't feeling that, so she ended up knocking the hell out of me, and that was a heavy hit, but I deserve it. I deserve it. Like straight off the back, I deserve that.
You know what that reminds me of?
What's that, man?
Would someone turn it up for me, please?
Jazz, crank it up for me.
Oh, yes. Oh, yes, listen, darling. Listen to the violins. Beautiful. Oh. The oboes will be coming next.
Uncle Phil is feeding the orchestra, you know. That's feeding the music, you know.
Wasn't that with Jazzy Jeff went over and he started? Yeah, I remember that episode.
Oh, yeah. It's all-time records, isn't it? Yeah. I remember.
But at least Jazzy knew what he was doing. I didn't know what I was doing. I just took my little hand and just put it directly on top of the record and just brought it back. And yes, I felt the wrath of her on that one, man.
Oh God!
Man.
Oh, I water doesn't get go. Every single time, you know, oh, the Fresh Prince of Bel-Air's. Every single time Jazz gets thrown out the house, I crack up.
Oh man, it's even funnier when you find out who's the stunt double, and he had to wear like a wig and have it sticking up, and it just makes it even more funnier. Man.
Oh, yeah.
Beat that to grannies as well, man.
Oh, yeah, absolutely.
Beat that to grannies as well. My grandma ended up in a wheelchair. Really? And she had a walking stick because she was meant to get up and exercise every day to get back on her feet, but she couldn't be bothered. So she had a wheelchair and she had this walking stick, but she liked it because she used this walking stick as a weapon. If you did something naughty and you were just out of reach of her hand, she'd pick up the stick and hook you.
Oh man!
She'd lay your lap on her wheelchair and go to town on your ass, boy.
I don't care what nobody say. Grandparents rule the fucking world, man. They always,
hey, damn right.
They always kept you on line, man. Like even when she knocked me out for touching the turntable and the vinyl, I respect it to this day. She's not here with me anymore, but she me doing that. And then she didn't knock the talent out of me, but she did knock the shit out of me.
Knock it into you, man, is what she did.
She kept me on the straight and narrow.
You know what I mean? Yeah, it's definitely worth. It was definitely worth it, right?
Yeah, it was worth it. It was worth it.
Man, that's crazy, man. I think we got another special guest jumped into the chat. Can you hear us, Jon Drewes? Can you hear us?
Yes, I can. What's up? What's up, guys? Yo. Can you hear me?
Yep.
Yeah, we can hear you, man. I salute you and taking time out to talk to us. I hear that you just got off work.
Yeah, I just got off. US. Just got off.
Wow. No, I appreciate that, man. Seriously, I really appreciate that. So we're talking only built for Cuban Links, but we just steered off just a little bit. You know what I mean? So now you're here, we're gonna bring it back on track. So Shadfather, I'll get to you soon, right? Because I know you said you wanted to be educated. But hey, Shad, we could be educated in future episodes by yourself. You know what I mean? Because I know there's albums out there for you that meant a lot to you that I probably haven't heard, or Big O hasn't heard, or Jon Drewes hasn't heard. Double J, not so sure because he's the historian. So I'm not going to test his history. I'm not going to do it. You know what I mean? But, John, August 1st, 1995. Do you remember that day? What that day meant to you?
I do, man. I do. I remember because, obviously, like when 36 Chambers was like still hot, and then like all the individual members were coming out, and everything was so hyped for the purple tape to drop, and Ray was about to do it, and it just exceeded everybody's expectations when it dropped. It was crazy. I remember like everybody around me was going nuts when it dropped. It was just crazy. It was a crazy release, and then all the beats were on point, all the rhymes, everything was nuts with it. It was crazy. It was nuts.
All right, so I've already done Astral J and Big O, and Shadfather's going to chime in soon. For you, do you remember the first track from that album that actually gave you goosebumps?
My god! I mean, I remember hearing Criminology.
Yo, first of all, son, beat the arson. Many brothers I be sparking and busting mad light inside the dark. Call me Doe Snatcher, just a brother for the rapture. I hang glide, holding on strong, hard to capture. Extravagant, resurrect the track and it's militant. Then I react like a convict and start killing shit. It's manifested. The guards work like appliances. Dealing in my cipher, I revolve around sciences. The ninth chamber, you get trapped inside my hallway. You try to flee, but you got smoke right by the doorway. No question.
Just gave me chills. Like Criminology, Ice Cream, like it's like from start to finish, it was just a classic. I mean, but I'd say like Criminology was the first one that really just like popped off for me. You know, it was crazy. Just, I mean, the Al RZA just did his thing. Everybody who rhymed on it was just like perfect. It was just like everything came together. It was like literally a story in audio. It was like a movie in audio form, which a lot of people hadn't, you know what I'm saying? Like a lot of people hadn't been doing that yet, and Ray just like mastered it. It was like I was in a mob flick in my ears. You know, it was nuts.
I have to put my hand up here. Sorry to interrupt you, John. I have to put my hand up here.
Yep.
The first time I heard Criminology, I wasn't that up on it.
Okay. Oh, I was.
It was a good track. Don't get me wrong. It was a good track. It was. I think it was because at the time when I first heard it, the difference between the intro bit and the actual verse bit, the difference between the verse bit and the chorus bit, jarred me a little bit. I mean, now I love it. It's classic. But I remember the first time I heard it, because obviously the chorus bit's a lot more musical than the verse. It's, you know, it's kind of dun, 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 dun. And I was loving that, and I was thinking that was going to be the whole track. So when they went into the verse and it was just the dun, dun, I was like, it kind of
I see what you're saying, but like I think that also allowed the MCs to really shine. You know what I mean? Like it didn't overpower them. It just really gave them the platform to explode. And the chorus was just so like, you know, big and bombastic. So then when the verses came back, they were able to fill it up. So that's why it was like, to me, it was just awesome. But again, you know, to each their own. And you know what I'm saying? Like, again, like you said, sometimes you hear a track for the first time. Like when I listen to records, I always got to hear them like 3 or 4 times before I get my final opinion on it. You know, like the first listen is special, but to really formulate my opinion, it's usually on like listen 3 or 4, you know, in general.
Wow, Criminology, man. I remember hearing that on the radio, but didn't realize it was, number one, didn't realize it was Criminology. Number two, didn't realize it was Raekwon's song. Didn't realize it was Ghostface's song. I just thought it was just a new song that came out or whatever. You know what I mean? Still, I was very new to the album game at that time, as I told the guys earlier. And then actually realizing it was Criminology when I actually bought the purple tape and I'm on my ped around listening to it. And then that, for me, that was Ghostface's first warning shot at me, saying, "Yo, Grant, I'm going to be your favorite rapper. I mean, right now, your favorite rapper is Method Man. But guess what? I'm gonna change that soon. You don't know it yet, but you're gonna. But by the time Supreme Clientele comes out, I'm your favorite rapper. Remember, I told you, and that's what Ghostface said to me on Criminology, basically." And I love that because, you know, I love that verse from Ghost because
it was fire.
What added on to his ferociousness, that flow, was Raekwon in the background. You know what I mean? Was Raekwon in the background like rubbing it in or ad-libbing? You know what I mean? We tried to think, but it took a shot, blah, blah. I was like, bomba clap!
Yo, he came hard with that verse. He came for real. He came real hard with that. Not gonna lie. Came real hard.
Even Raekwon himself, like Raekwon, he held his own board. Even Raekwon's thinking, "Oh shit."
Yeah. He might have upstaged him a little bit. I'm not gonna lie, but it's just like, but they were so. But this album to me, it wasn't even like a full Ray. It was like a Ray and Ghost co-headliner. You know what I mean? Like the whole album, and I was like totally down.
Yeah, that's what I thought it was. Listening to it for the first time in its entirety, I thought it was a feature for the two of them. Like I read a meth before I read a meth.
Right.
Yeah. I mean, to me, there's nothing wrong with that. Like they both add their own flavors, so that when they came together, it was just so good. You know what I mean? So I mean, like you're saying though, like Ghost definitely came real hard on some of the verses, but I still view it as a Ray album because he was kind of like the visionary behind it. Ghost just added like the color to it. You know what I mean? Like he was like the color commentator. But it was both dope. You know?
Best way of putting it. Best way of putting it, man. Shad, what can you what can you add on, and what can you we call, you know, running it back for yourself and be like, oh snap, okay, this tune did it for me.
Yeah.
And it's got it.
Yes.
Yeah, obviously, I like I said, it's like listening to it fresh for me. Apart from the tracks that I didn't know, I didn't know the order, so I just let it run through from beginning to end.
Mm-hmm.
And yeah, Knuckleheads. Obviously, when that came on, yeah, my head was nodding. And I've written down a little bit for each track. I've gone through each track and written a little bit. And for Knuckleheads, I've written down that You God killed it. You God took the mic for me, I feel like.
Wow.
Is that a wild statement, or can you guys attest to that as well? Or?
You got steals tracks, man. You got steals tracks.
Yeah.
I
mean, I don't think that's crazy to say, though. I mean, I think that's You've had his verses throughout that bang, you know. So I don't think that's crazy to say.
Okay. Yeah. You God, I did enjoy that verse. You lot were speaking about criminology.
Mm-hmm.
Is it criminology?
Yeah.
I put favorite track up until this point. I'm for criminology. I put good beats. So yeah, I think I must have been feeling criminology. That was my favorite up until then. Track 4. Track 4, isn't it? Track 4, yeah.
After track 4, yeah, track 4.
No, track 4 is criminology.
Yeah, and track 5 is incarcerated Scarface.
Oh, that's a close one for me too.
Yeah.
That's close. I'm not gonna lie, that one's close.
Well, if we're not gonna lie, incarcerated Scarfaces, I tried my hardest not to skip.
No. Okay.
But then I put, the second verse got better. It got better from the second verse, but it must have started off. Yeah, it didn't start off so well. I'm sorry.
Okay, it's your opinion.
I must have enjoyed it. It wasn't until the second verse where I'm like, okay, here we go. We're back on track now.
You know what, Shad? It's like, because you're playing catch up, we're not going to put you on the cross. You know what I mean? Not like back in the day now. Back when it first dropped and Incarcerated first come on in, and so I was like, nah, I didn't like this. You know what I mean? That was a crime scene back then in '95.
I just, man, that snare in Incarcerated Scarface, it just drew me in because it was so gritty and it was so like raw that I just loved it. You know what I mean? Like that's why
very raw. And
that's why I liked it. You know, RZA was sounded top of his game. You know, at this point,
it's like when RZA did that shit. It's like he made it dry for a reason, but it was some great dry, so you can hear that crisp in it. I'm sorry, when we talk about these songs, I'm gonna just go off on the production because that's my specialty.
Well, if you're gonna do it, this is the album to do it.
What I loved about RZA at that time is the beats he was making. Like at first listen, they sound simple. It sounds just like a beat and some kind of sample in the background, and that's it. It's only when you listen to it a few times, you pick up something in the background every single time, and then you realize how multi-layered it is. Do you know what I mean? But it sounds really stark, really sort of, you know, especially the tracks where he uses like just one bass note. Do you know what I mean? Like, exactly. Like Julian Iron Mike, a track like that is just that one all the way through, but it's such a multi-layered track, you know what I mean? And it's the same on Only Built for Cuban.
You're right. It's the subliminal layers. You know what I mean?
Yeah,
Subliminal layers.
You start noticing the underneath stuff the more you listen to it, man, and it just gets better every time.
And even when he chop a sample, it could be like the simplest chop, but how he had that shit just layered and edged over to the side a little bit, just to give your ears something a little extras that you can listen to. And I think he shined a lot with, as far as solo albums go, he shined a lot with that on Only Built for Cuban Links. And I think he took that shit to another level with Wu-Tang Forever. We'll talk about that later.
That album just has a totally different sound to me. Like sonically, it's like different sound. This to me is very gritty and raw and like, you know, like that sound, it's like more like unpolished, where I think Forever was more like so clean and polished and
Very
just,
clean.
just different records, you know what I mean?
Yeah, it's different records, and I like that cleanness. Don't get me wrong. I love it because that's what drew me in. That this grittiness from Only Built, man. How he did it and how it was mixed and how it just stood out, it was like no other.
Mad. Well, guys, hear what now? We're gonna get into a very short break, right? Grab a drink. You know what I mean? 10 minutes, get your smoke on, whatever it is you gotta do. When we come back, this is how we're gonna do it. I'm gonna have Shadfather run down some of his favorite tracks. Purple Tape, right? And then if any of us have got stories in relation to those tracks, we're gonna talk about it. How about that?
Wu-Tang Clan rocks the world.
Allow me to demonstrate the skill of Shaolin, the special technique of shadow boxing.
Poisonous paragraph, smash a phonograph in half and read the inspector deck on the warpath. First class, leaving mics with a cast, causing ruckus like the aftermath when guns blast. Run fast, here comes the verbal assaulter. Rhymes running wild like a child in a walker. I score from the inner slums abroad, and my thoughts are ready to sharp, slice the mic from the cord. First criticized, but now they have become mentally paralyzed with hits that I devise. Now I testify, the best is I, rebel lioness, your highness, blessed to electrify.
Welcome back, and I hope you are still joining in at home. Grab Body P, alongside the DJ Shadfather, alongside the Big O, alongside Jon Drewes, alongside the historian, the history of hip-hop himself, Double J. We are discussing Raekwon, only built for Cuban Links here on RePPin4U Rewind. You know what I mean? The new show, monthly show on YouTube, where each month we take a classic album and we just share our favorite stories. Obviously, a selection of albums selected by us, and then we present it to you, the people. You choose, you get the vote, which album, which classic album that we're going to talk about. And that's what we're doing right now. And the first one just happened to be On a Vote for Cuban Links. It's an album that meant a lot to me, personally. You know what I mean? It meant a lot to a lot of us. But before I even get into part two of that, man, you know what I mean? If you want to get your music showcased on RePPin4U Hip Hop Show, real quick, it goes like this, man. Send them to my email, mikedog36@gmail.com, MIKEDO36@gmail.com. No trap, no mumble rap. We don't do that over here. Don't be a tragedy like DJ Academics.
What he's going through right now.
He's the latest one to get catch.
Yeah, you know what? Doesn't surprise me. And first thing first, motherfucker ain't no DJ. That we just gonna take that out the equation right now. That's Jerry Mouse.
I was about to say he ain't recovered from Erica Badu.
Nah, that's Jerry Mouse. Ain't no DJ. The DJ Jigglypuff. I don't like Academics, man. I swear his viewpoints they get on my nerves, man.
Oh,
I don't get how someone like that can get so big. But maybe we talk shit, man. You can get big.
I mean, he getting bigger.
Oh boy! You know who else is a tragedy as well? The Game. Because,
yeah.
I'm not gonna lie. I did like what he did last week. You know what I mean? I did like, oh snap, he got Rick Ross. Oh dear. But then, I mean, I don't know about you guys, but I saw a picture of surface on the internet lately, and I believe it was The Game, Meek Mill, and Puff Daddy all sharing a hot tub.
Yeah.
Oh, God. Oh, God. Oh,
hey,
yeah.
yo.
That's...
Three man in a hot tub, and so no women in there.
Nah, that's
He was in there. Rick Ross as well.
No, this Game, Diddy, and Meek Mill. They all in a hot tub, just bubbling together, just straight dick soup. That's all of them, and not a woman in sight. So it's like, nah, I can't.
Free dicks and no bitch. Find yourself in some serious shit.
Yeah, man. They just in there boiling together. Like, I don't know why, man. I can't do that, man.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Hey, yo, that's suspect, man. That's suspect. And they enjoying it as well, you know. The game, I was supporting him, you know. I thought, yes, he got Rick Ross. We can't do it again, man. We can't do it no longer.
I wasn't even supporting it because the whole point of Rick Ross even entering that beef is because Drake's stupid ass. This man is not very smart. He jumped in it because he said his name. Nobody said Game's name. Nobody said shit about the game. He already chose his side, who he aligned with, and he started going on his IG, throwing shots at J. Cole, started talking shit about Rick Ross, and it's like, dude, you need some attention, don't you? He still got that lawsuit.
It's sad, man. Still, yeah. I'm one of Game's biggest fans, man. And I've got to admit, it's sad, man.
I love Game too. His first two albums, chef kiss for me. I love those albums.
Hopefully we'll be talking about documentary might be on this show one time.
Man, I hope so. I know where I was when that shit came out.
There's so many bangers on that one. That's
the second one was great. But man, what he's doing now, nobody asked for you, Game. Nobody asked for you in this.
That's the problem. No one asked for him, so you know he's got to make himself relevant somehow.
He does seem to like to insert himself in beef, though. I mean, I don't really keep up with what people are doing outside music, but yeah, there has been a few times over the years where Game's kind of inserted himself into situations where nobody asked him to be there. So I think that's just his thing.
Nobody asked him to be there. He's like that one video game character when he spawned in and that motherfucker just started kicking out of nowhere. He doesn't hit anything. He's just roundhouse in the air. That's basically what it is, man.
Oh my god.
That's how I feel about this whole thing, you know, well, I call it the hip-hop pandemic right now. The hip-hop pandemic right now. You know what I mean? Everyone's going at each other for no reason, man.
It's a reason.
Yeah, and just be one holding a rope, and everybody else on the other side on some tug-of-war business, and everyone just pull me in and drag me in the mud as well. I try to keep out of it, you know what I mean?
It's definitely for a reason.
Drink this. Yo,
it's definitely
the album's coming out. Yeah, but drink this. Yeah, but Conrad the Machine and Ghostface come out. No, but drink this. Shit, man.
Now this shit been simmering for 11 years. No, I'll take it back 12 years. This shit been simmering for 12 years. So I'm glad somebody put that man in his place.
Can agree on that.
Man, I'm glad he put him in his place. But the thing is, this is real beef because they don't like each other. They ain't like each other for 12 years. It's going more than just music now. It's like he's orchestrating shootings at his mansion. And come to find out that the fucking security company that he hired, it was just a made-up security company, and the news got involved, and they're doing further investigations. It's like, dude, you lost. Just hang it up.
Lord have mercy. Before we move on, I will say this real quick. I give Kendrick Lamar props because what he's done with this record is probably unlike any other this record that's gone before.
Yeah.
Now that record has become like a dance craze and all sorts now. You know, when people dance with people enjoy themselves, rocking to it. It's not like previous disc records when you're listening to the lyrics and you're like this, and then you go, oh, Vaseline, oh, or hit them up, oh my God, damn. But this
I feel you on that.
but people actually enjoy themselves. It's like it's become like a mainstream thing, and outlets outside hip hop are talking about it. So Kendrick,
it's insane, man. Because I mean, out of all the records that came out, like 10 records came out of this shit. The one disc that had me like that was Meet the Grams, because everything that was said in that record is coming to light and it's coming true. That's the scary shit about that particular record for me. With Not Like Us, that's a banging ass record. It's like everybody dancing and celebrating, and it's an anti-pedophile song. It's crazy. it's crazy how this shit is. Like, you know, I love to see. We all hate pedophiles. We all hate grooming. We all hate that shit. To see a song it's a diss record and it's also anti all that shit. I like seeing that, hands down.
Yeah.
I might have to go and listen to these tracks, because I haven't heard any of them. I haven't really been paying attention to the beef. I mean,
wow.
If Drake disappeared tomorrow, I'd only miss one song. There's only one song of his that I absolutely love.
Which
and
one?
The only reason why I love that song is because Ninth Wonder spazzed on the beat, and
he's so good. He's so good.
And
Good Thoughts.
Elzai and Fonte absolutely smashed on the song.
I think I know the song that you're talking about. Is it Think Good Thoughts? Yeah. That was on
That's the only track. That's the only track of his that I love. He's made a couple more that I like. Fear's pretty good. You know, and for some reason I love I'm On One, even though that's not my kind of track, but I do like that tune. The DJ Khaled one. But apart from that, if Drake disappeared tomorrow, I wouldn't miss any of his music apart from that one track, Think Good Thoughts. His music has never really appealed to me that much.
His music never appealed to me either.
And that's not because I don't hate on anyone. Like, he's big in the game because he found a niche in the market and they got enough people to buy his record that he's now rich. And I applaud him for that, because nobody just finds themselves in that position. He worked hard to get there. Do you know what I mean? Whether he's real or he's not real, or whether he did backdoor, doesn't matter. He did the work and he made the money. So I respect that. But musically, because I'm only about the music really. Musically, he's never been one for me. Kendrick, I've enjoyed a lot more of Kendrick's output. Again, I'm not crazy on Kendrick, but he's made a lot more music that I have really vibed to. I mean, that last album that he brought out, the Steppers one. For me, I mean, I really enjoyed that album, because for me, it wasn't only a music album. It was like an art installation. It was like more than music, if you know what I mean. Yeah. That sounds like silly or pretentious or whatever, but yeah, for me, it was more than just a musical album. It was like an art installation. It was like a poetry slam music installation, seminar, motivational speaking tour or whatever. You know, it was more than just some songs one after the other. You know, so yeah, I've got a lot more out of Kendrick than I have out of Drake. I wouldn't miss Drake, but no, I haven't heard any of the songs from the beef at all. I've not been paying attention really, so I might have to go and listen to him though.
I'll listen to all of them.
Double J was in the same boat all along, man. I thought it was just V1 just rowing the boat, man. So it turned out to be and Double J rowing the boat, so you know what I mean? And then everyone else is like,
me and you were like Oxford and Cambridge.
No, it's crazy how like all those songs came out, and I'm not the biggest Drake fan either. And when you said Think Good Thoughts, I love that record, and I love Lord Knows because of Just Blaze and Rick Ross. That's it. Other than that, I don't like Drake musically. That's just
he's more mainstream. Like he tries to cater more to the mainstream than like you guys were saying, like Kendrick and stuff. So I could see it. I could see why the music isn't clicking as much. You know what I mean?
But it's not so much that him catering to the mainstream, because I mean shit, Kendrick does both. My thing is it's the same formula. And it means more to me because you're not from, like, he cosplay as a rapper from Atlanta. I'm from ATL. So you know that's something to me. He cosplay as a rapper from Houston. cosplay as a rapper from Memphis, and it's like, dude, that's not you. And then it's the same beats, it's the same pattern, nothing exciting, nothing that just popped out and been like wow to me, except for the Good Thoughts and Lord Knows. That's it. However, with Kendrick, that's a whole different story. And what I loved about Mr. Morale and the Bit Steppers, it was original because that shit was like a therapy album. It was like a whole therapy session.
Yeah, he is way more diverse musically, for sure. Way more. 100%.
To throw all of your stuff out there for everybody to see and treat it like a therapy session, and it's balanced with that underground shit that we like and the mainstream shit that people like. It was a perfect blend. So I love that album.
Yeah. And the thing is about Drake as well, because like you said, Big O, because he cosplays as all these different rappers from all these different places, nobody actually knows what Toronto's got to say.
Yeah.
So he's made it bad for where he actually comes from. Like, he's had records where he's like, I'm from, I started from the bottom and I'm here or whatever. But I mean, it's like, who knows anything about Toronto? Like, he could have been the Toronto connection.
Exactly.
But he decided that he wanted to be from the South.
I thought at one point that Drake was from Kingston, Jamaica. At one point, with popcorn and all that. Man. And I thought, hang on a second, he's from London, man. I see him with gigs and all that. I'm thinking,
I reckon that was him trying to get with Rihanna. I'm from the Caribbean too.
Well, what his name? ASAP.
ASAP Rocky.
Yeah, whichever one it is. You know what I mean? Whichever one. I better be careful what I say about ASAP because I'm actually trying to work on something behind the scenes there. But you know what I mean? Big ups to if it's Rocky, big ups to him.
Yeah.
I think it's Rocky, isn't it? Yeah. Big ups
Luckiest man on earth.
You pretend like he's somebody else. You know what I mean? I'm ASAP Rocky, and that's that. Got the girl. Well done.
Yes.
Guys,
because he was the luckiest.
Okay. Because we could continue on, and the next thing you know, it's me. Can't do that, man. Can't do that. Shad, right. So you've been running through the album. On the bill for Cuban Links. Purple. That's where Ghostface said it on the purple tape. Big ups to Nas. For you, outside of the tracks that we've just talked about, what other tracks caught your ears and you was like, Lord, yo, this is the one right here?
If I could be honest with y'all, I feel like the album started off slow. There was some decent tracks all the way through up until track number 12. And that's when I was like, oh shit, here we go.
Okay.
Here we go. From track 12 to the end of the album, there was not one sleeper track. But from 1 till 12, there was a couple of sleeper tracks.
Now I'm gonna figure out what track 12 was.
Purple Intercourse.
Because if track
Verbal Intercourse is number 12.
Before we talk about verbal intercourse, just to put it back a little bit, growing up, listening to albums, and obviously we'd open up the book and that and look at the back and all that. We always used to look forward to track number 10 on every album. Every album on track number 10 always used to be a good song, like one of the better songs on that album. So check it out for yourself still. I don't know if you all go back and look at some of the albums and be like, oh, track 10, oh yeah. But growing up for me, track 10 was always one. Let me see what track number 10 is.
It's funny you say that. It's funny you say that, Shad, because I remember in the early days of listening to Only Built for Cuban Links, I do remember myself always, when I'm running it back, I'm always listening to like side 2 more than I did side 1. Especially Only Built for Cuban Links. Not like I never skipped the album kind of thing, but like when I'm running it back on my Walkman on my travels or whatnot, more time it will be side 2 that I'd run back more than side 1, which is kind of weird. Now you say track 12 was Verbal Intercourse.
Yeah, track 12 was Verbal Intercourse.
I was going to say that I did enjoy Ice Water as well.
Yeah, I was going to ask you that.
In that case, track 10 must be Ice Water.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. I did enjoy track 10, Ice Water. But as soon as Verbal Intercourse, as soon as Nas started rapping, man, that was it, game over, man. Like, not to discredit Raekwon or anyone else who rapped before that, But as soon as Nas came on and started like, ripping through the track, I was like, wow. Yeah, you could see the difference in quality between everybody else that came before him on the album till now. But everybody stepped their game up from then. Like I said, from Verbal Intercourse all the way through until the album finished. It was you could have just had that. If that was one side or one album, I would say it would be up there as you lot call it a classic already. But for me, if you just had them, what 9 songs plus skits and that'd be a classic album.
You know what? Yeah. You know what? You guys, I don't know if you can agree or disagree, but I feel like I think we hit the sweet spot of Honorable for Cuban Links. Ice Water.
Yeah.
Don't get me started on Glaciers of Ice, I mean it. And then Verbal Intercourse, you know what I mean? That to me was the sweet spot of that album, you know. That's how I personally see it. Guys, do you have any recollections or any stories as relates to Ice Water, Glaciers of... Don't get me started on Glaciers of Ice, and Verbal Intercourse. You know what? You know the story of Glaciers of Ice for me is coming, but I'm letting you guys chime in first. Who wants to go first? Jon Drewes, you got anything?
What's up? Yeah. You guys go. That's cool. Yeah, no, I mean, I remember with Verbal Intercourse, it was, I mean, growing up in New York, it was crazy because when you had like Nas on the track with like Ghost and Ray, it was just like, it just blew up. Like it just blew the streets up. Everybody was talking about it. Obviously, it lived up to the hype. The track still is sick today. It was just one of those albums. It was like really not on the radio. It was on the radio, but it wasn't like a mainstream play. But everybody was talking. Like I felt like it was on the radio because all of them, like everybody around me, was talking about it. You know, it was just like that street hype track that like just transcended hip hop because everybody was so excited about the collaboration and it just like brought the record up another level. You know what I mean? So that's how I remember it. I just remember like so much talking between like my peers and like people on the street, and then like I just saw my buddies just talking about it. Like it just blew up, and then without radio, like without as much radio play as some of the other songs, it was just like the streets were just talking about it like so much, and obviously it was justified. So that's just what I remember. I just remember it was one of those things, just that so much street buzz on it that it just like elevated it even more. That's what I remember, especially about that track of the 3 that you guys were talking about. Just like being around New York, I grew up near the Bronx, so a lot of people talking about it. So that's what I remember, like specifically from that time. It's just like the buzz around it was crazy because that collaboration actually happened. So
wow, and you know what? It was written, didn't even come out yet.
Yeah.
Time. It came at a time where when albums came out, there was hardly. It was very minimal guest appearances. It's not like the albums of today where you know if a new album was coming out and I tell my friend, right?
Yeah.
One of the first questions they'll ask me is, okay, who's on the album? Who's the features? It wasn't like that before. You know what I mean? That wasn't even a question back in the day. It was like, yo, this is Raekwon's album, and that's that. You know what I mean? To see Nas on there, it was like, oh.
Yeah, it was big. It was big.
It was a shock factor, and I actually missed that in hip hop. And when somebody who wasn't a part of that camp come in onto another camp's album, it just boosts that excitement a hell of a lot more. And that's why I miss when hip hop was segregated back in the day, when New York sounded like New York, Midwest sounded like Midwest, West Coast sounded like West Coast, and we sounded like us. But when you had somebody say like a Raekwon come down to ATL and collaborate with Outkast for Skew It on the Barbie, that was huge. Things like that. These people from different regions will come in and just hop on an album. You don't have that excitement anymore. So when Nas was on there and the anticipation, nobody really saw it coming. That meant something.
Oh yeah, for sure. for sure. 100%.
And it wasn't played. It was one of those. It wasn't played on the radio. Well, at least I didn't hear it on the radio.
Yeah, I mean, like it got like like the DJs would drop it a little bit, but it wasn't in the main rotation. You know what I'm saying? Like, but the streets were talking about it. Like, I heard it. I mean, everybody around us heard it.
Yeah, I think part of what spoiled for me over the years, looking at sort of collaborations, I think part of what spoiled that excitement for a collaboration was when people started collaborating without leaving their house or without leaving their town. Like, I'm just throwing names out there. Like, but if Snoop Dogg did a song with Meth and they didn't actually meet, Meth just sent the track to the West Coast. Snoop put his verse on it and sent it back. They never met. They never really discussed anything. It was mostly handled by their management. And I think you can tell, a lot of the time you can tell on tracks when MCs got together and it was organic to when, someone just dropped a verse by, recording it and sending it, and then that was it. They dropped it on the song. Do you know what I mean? I think that's because it started happening so often where the artists never met and never had anything to do with each other, and you could tell. Do you know what I mean? And then I think that made the excitement go out of it, because it was just like, that's just that person on that track, and they never met and blah blah blah. I'm not excited about it. But when they, I mean, I still get excited, like when, like for instance, Ghostface and Nas now, the Scar Tissue track. You can tell that them two got together and made that track. You know what I mean? And that's exciting for me.
I think that one, in my opinion, could be wrong. I think that came off the back of the New York State of Mind tour.
I was gonna say that definitely. That's what it felt like to me, because they were really clicking.
The tour happened, and then Ghost and Nas and whoever else was like, "Yo, we're gonna make some music together, man. This is crazy. I'm buzzing. Come on, let's do something real quick, man, before the next show." And that's probably I felt like that's what happened there with Ghost and Nas, and then to see Nas promoting Ghostface like that is like, wow, it's a big deal. Double J, let me ask you this, because you've interviewed people on your show, right? Yeah. And a little later on, I'm going to get you to plug your show as well, because you got to pay those bills too. Is it a bit of a pet peeve of yours, because you just mentioned it, when you ask an artist? Because I know it happens with me. I ask an artist, my guest, "Oh man, how did this collaboration happen? How did this come together? Because this tune's amazing," or whatever. And that's the answer they'll give you. "Oh yeah, we did the beat. I put my verse. I sent it to the guy. He sent it back, and it was done." And then I'm like,
"Well, call me when you get home." Okay.
That's the, you know what I mean? That's, I want to hear. You know what I mean? I want to hear synergy. I want to hear. I want to hear them stories.
I want to hear stories. I want to hear anecdotes. Yeah, I know what you mean. I have been quite lucky. I think because the people that I've interviewed are more underground. I think that they have to be more forthcoming with how they do things. That's the vibe I'm getting. So I've been quite lucky that the people that I've interviewed, they do have anecdotes. They do have stuff that they want to talk about. They want to talk about their collaborations. They want to talk about, who they've interacted with. Do you know what I mean? I've not really had a story where it's just like, "Oh, I just sent him the blah blah blah." I've had a couple of people say, I reached out to somebody, but then something organic happened afterwards. Do you know what I mean? So I haven't really had that. Luckily for me, sort of up till now, touch wood, it doesn't happen at all. But I haven't really had that, luckily. So yeah. It's all my interviews have been, quite good. A bit, I've not really had a bad one, to be honest.
Okay. I've had a few bad interviews, but it's not because of the guest. It's more the quality of the, because sometimes there have to be like phone interviews or what we're doing right now. And sometimes the connection not good, and it kind of messes up the vibe. And inside you're just tearing up like, why is this happening right now? You know what I mean? That's the only thing about it, really. But yeah, man, those few tracks right there, Ice water.
Yeah. I mean, talking about verbal intercourse.
Yeah.
For me, what was so great about that song, obviously, like we've all said, the fact that Nas was on there was big. But for me, what I was saying about Criminology earlier, about how the verse and the chorus bit kind of jarred me at first. With this, it was kind of the opposite. So when it first came in, I was like, okay, this is all right. And then when the verse bit came in with the woman talking in the background and that, I was like, oh, this is amazing, because I love how that's another thing about RZA and the guys that he kind of got around him, True Master and that. I love when they had a sample and the sample wasn't perfect, like it would run over, or it was like, for instance, Wu-Tang Forever, For Heaven's Sake. In the chorus, the first time the For Heaven's Sake plays, and it plays a bit slower, and then it plays at the right speed the second time. Do you know what I mean? I love that. I love that it's not perfect. And on
the imperfections, the imperfections make it more real.
Imperfections are always
on verbal intercourse, that woman talking in the background and then just chopping it off and starting it again. I love that. Do you know what I mean? But what if he, and then starts again? I want to love him. Do you know what I mean? I love that. Because I mean, I've never been a producer, like Big O, but I've always been more about the music than the rhyme. Don't get me wrong, I want great rhymes on great tracks.
Yeah,
but right or wrong, if I have the choice between listening to an a cappella album or an instrumental album, I'll choose the instrumental album every single time. Do you know what I mean?
Absolutely.
So I like it has to be great music for me. Like there's albums that people consider classics that I don't, because I don't think the music's up to par, even if the rhyming is amazing. Do you know what I mean? Like, I'd rather hear a great track with a mediocre rhyme on it than a great rhyme on a mediocre track.
Amen.
You know what I mean?
That.
Right or wrong. You know what I mean? That's just me personally. I don't know whether I'm in the minority with that.
No, you're not. And I agree with you, because there's one record out there, incredible artist, incredible storyteller. I'm just going to say this one record. The story was so gruesome in this record. It was so, it fucked my head up so bad that I can only listen to it one time, because the music just didn't grab me.
Didn't click.
But also the story was just too graphic for my liking. It's Dance with the Devil. Yeah. That particular record, I can only listen to it one time, because I didn't like the music in it, and the story just fucked my head up so badly that I couldn't go back and listen to it.
On that beat, man, you know what I mean? The beat, it's the beat. The beat's gonna catch me first. If the beat catches me first, then the lyrics will come afterwards. Such is the case of, oh man, we ain't got much time left. Such is the case of, see, you made me go there now. Places of Ice. That's.
I'm excited. Let's hear the story, man. I want to hear it.
Yeah.
I haven't heard it yet.
We're all going around.
Brother, first of all, I want to pick up friend of the program, Blue Raspberry. Blue Raspberry's been on the show, and I had to ask her about her side of the story. But, you know what I mean? This is mine, right? Now, Shad, you may recall when RePPiN4U Hip Hop Show first started. Remember we was at Noise Radio? Remember that?
Yep, I do.
And when Noise Radio started, and you wanted to join us at Noise Radio as well. So, at that time, do you remember that I mentioned a female named DJ Miss C. Brown?
Yeah, of course. She's been riding for ages still.
Right. Oh, yeah, of course. You met her.
I met her. Yeah, I met her at the party.
Yeah. My fault. All right. So, shout out to DJ Miss C. Brown. If you're listening right now, if you're watching right now, big up yourself. Right. I never forget it, man. So, one of my early episodes of RePPiN4U Hip Hop Show, one of the first ones I ever did, was at Noise Radio. And I decided to do like a 90 segment, right? And it was one of the first ones where I had the people choose the playlist, what tunes I want to hear, what tunes I want to request. One of them just happened to be Glaciers of Ice. Now, I remember the impact it did to me when I first heard it on my paper round at 13 years old, 15 years old, sorry, at 15 years old. But then when I played it at Noise Radio, DJ Missy Brown was my first female co-host, right? She was there. She spazzed out. Remember now, at the time, if you remember, Shad, it was August when we started at Noise Radio. It was August. The weather was hot, right?
Couldn't open the window either. Could not open the window.
So you remember, right?
Yeah, I remember. Yeah.
Okay. So now, right? So now Raekwon, Master Killer, and Ghost is going up on this track, right? And then Blue Rascal's coming off with the hook. Imagine Missy Brown, right? Credit to her. She's a hottie, right? She's a baddie, right? This girl's taking off jackets, showing off flesh.
Oh, shit.
Oh my God, damn! She was losing her shit, man. You know, Lord have mercy. I'm going to make that in the studio today.
Repeats. Have a little white dog right beside you right now. How old will you be? 15 now. What would you call him? Glacier. Little Glacier right beside you now.
Oh my God. I'm done. That's why I love Shadfather, you know. Because Shadfather will come off with something so heinous at any given time.
You're telling me that as you play this song, the girl was removing her clothes, so the easiest thing to do is put it on repeats, isn't it?
It wasn't even ice cream, you know. It wasn't even ice cream. It was glaciers of ice.
Yeah, I know. That's ironic.
That's how we keep Wu-Tang money all up in the family. Jesus Christ, brother. That remains today. Not just of DJ Missy Brown, but it goes back to when I first heard the album in '95. That remains my official favorite tune on that album. We've got like a few minutes left before we close this out. Guys, you've got one track on the album that's your all-time favorite on Only Built for Cuban Links. Go. Big O, what you got?
Oh, man, I said it earlier. It's Heaven and Hell. I would say Ice Water because I love that, but still Heaven and Hell, that holds it there. It means a lot to me, man.
Damn. All right. That's the one. Heaven and Hell means a lot, man. Heaven and Hell means a lot.
Yeah, that's a good one.
Your favorite tune from, I know it's difficult. All-time favorite tune from Only Built for Cuban Links. Go.
If you twist my arm and I had to choose one, unpopular opinion, North Star Jewels.
Oh, okay.
I love that track from the Barry White sample, and I love the way that he continued it on Only Built for Cuban Links 2 as well in the intro.
Yeah.
When I always play them together. Like what I did is when I got them 2 tracks and I put them in my computer and I spliced them together so they play as one track.
Nice.
North Star Jewels. I love the way it starts with the guy, you know, speaking these jewels, and then it goes into the little verse. I love the verse. You know what I mean? Just laid back because I wasn't expecting the verse. I was just expecting it to be the guy just talking truth to the end, and then he came in with the verse. And it was just like, this is just the perfect way. I mean, you know, like I said, I went and got the album first day. When I first bought it, North Star Jewels wasn't on there. I had to go and buy it again. But so, you know, Heaven and Hell was the way for me to close out the album. But when I bought it again with the North Star Jewels on, North Star Jewels this is just the perfect way to close out this album for me. So if you had to twist my arm, that would be my favorite song because I love it. I love it.
North Star Jewels, I ain't gonna lie, that brings a tear to my eye, man. I ain't gonna lie, that brings a tear. Jon Drewes, did you mention your favorite track? You got
it's so freaking hard. There's so many good ones. I gotta pick one. Rainy Days, man. Rainy Days,
man.
That song, that beat is just. Talk about, you guys are talking about what song gives you chills, man. I hear that beat, it just like, gets me like all warm inside, man. I'm like,
the Timbaland sample that.
Yeah.
Is that the Timbaland sample? And
I think, didn't
Neo
And
Fabulous.
fabulous, yeah.
Is that? I
Fabulous.
thought I heard. Yeah. I like that one. Yeah.
On guard. I'll let you try my Wu-Tang style.
Whole year coming through with my Shaolin crew. 2 cents for a case, give me St. Ides brew. In the mix of broken bottles and crushed up cans. Met the cows in the jam, oh how dry. With St. Ides in my system, crack another, I'm blessed. Let's go get the next one and get over. The object is to stay sober, lay on the sofa. Better yet, down my sofa. I'll be champ, stressed out, could never be son. Ricochet jelly, hit the deli for a cold one. Naturally blessed, yes, my rap is like a laser beam. The boards in the bushes, St. Ides feel like canteen.
Crack the bottle up and St. Ides, sipping through those who don't realize the drinking ain't only to be drunk. You can't drive, keep my people alive. And if the sink don't know you from a can of pain.
It was hot on a spot, so I turned it up the block. I'm so awkward and eyes, I can tell by the top. On the back, you be built it. Not that Taco built it, ice cold bottle built it. Till my company spilled it.
Back in it, man. You know what I mean? Man, what a discussion we're having right now, man. You know what I mean? RePPiN4U Rewind, the show where we take a classic album, one where you don't skip it. Hardly any skips. You know what I mean? And that album has been chosen by you, the listeners, you, the viewers, and all that great stuff, man. You know what I mean? I completely forgot to say it right at the beginning of this program. Hit a like, subscribe, comment, all that good stuff. Do what needs to be done. All right? That's what you have to do. Right Body P alongside the Shadfather, alongside Jon Drewes, alongside the big out of vintage sounds. Whether Double J is going to rejoin us, well, that remains to be seen. But I only built for Cuban Links, man. You know what I mean? It's like, wow, what a discussion, man, and what a way to kick it off, man. Before we got locked off, we were in the middle of Jon Drewes talking about his overall favorite track on the album, and I know it's very hard to pick just one. You know what I mean? So just remind us what those tracks were.
Yeah, I mean, so many good ones. I mean, honestly, I mean, it's hard to pick one, but I think like just because so many people are gonna say like the standard tracks that the more popular ones. So I'm gonna go with Rainy Days because I feel like Raekwon. When I think about Raekwon as an MC and the way that RZA always produces for him, I feel like he's at his pinnacle, at his top when he's telling stories, reflecting, just kind of like getting us into his mindset. And painting pictures and scenes with his lyrics. So I feel like Rainy Days, just the beat sonically, like really it captivated me, and then Raekwon lyrically just coming through and just really painting a good picture, doing a good story like usual with him. That beat, every time I hear it, and then like one of the other guys was saying, even when it's sampled, I get hyped. Like even just the sample of it gets hyped. So. I'd say like Rainy Days. I mean, again, if I had to pick one, just stands out for me. I think it just personifies what's great about Raekwon's MC and what's so good about this album. Again, just like it's like a moving, like you can see his the imagery that he's trying to paint with his lyrics. You know what I mean? So I think for me, that's why it stands out. But again, so many good bangers on this one. It's hard to pick one.
Yeah, Rainy Days was another favorite of mine as well, man. Like, obviously before Glaciers of Ice.
Mm-hmm. Obviously. Yeah. After that story, I mean, we know why.
Yeah, we get it.
When Rainy Days hit, you know what I mean? And it was a hot, sunny day delivering newspapers. You know what I mean? It really felt like it was raining. But but you knew that the sun was in the sky. For me, it was a hot day on August 1st, 95. You know what I mean? Listen to that Purple Tape, man. You know what I mean? JJ, you're back on. Can I pick your brains real quick?
Say that again, sorry.
Can I pick your brains real quick? Because you're the historian.
Sure.
Right. Rainy Days, right? A remix version came out, right? Shortly after. Because the original was so incredible, they had to run it back with a remix. Do you know, because I don't, I want to know who produced the remix to that. Do you know?
It rains, so I swallow this shit. Know how to love me. Makes me feel so good. Let it rain, let it rain. You know how to love me. get munched cause we on the air.
Got it.
It was somebody.
Historian stumps.
It was somebody that you wouldn't expect. It was somebody who you wouldn't expect, like Easy Mo B or something. I can't remember though. I do know, but I can't remember off the top of my head. It was someone. It was someone like Easy Mo B or that. Or maybe not Diamond D. But yeah, it was someone that you wouldn't expect.
Diamond.
But I can't remember. I can't remember off the top of my head. Sorry.
That's Google. Google will tell us right now.
Sorry, I had to do that to you, historian.
Let's find out. I'm still finding out shit, man.
I was gonna say, now I gotta find out.
Let's find out.
Yeah, man. Find out answers on the postcard, please, man. The remix of Rainy Days, man. Who produced that, man? It does sound very Diamond D-ish, to be fair. It was. I mean, it's one of them ones. Just you can't. It's very hard to top the original. And I get very nervous when people want to remix a classic. I get very nervous.
No. You've told me that many times.
Yeah.
That's what I do best, man. That's what I do best.
You did the blends them. Now, real talk, Shad. And I'm sure some of you guys can vouch for it as well. You know what I mean? That remixing a classic is not an easy feat at all. You know what I mean? Especially if it's produced by Jay Dilla.
Oh no, of course. I knew it was someone that you wouldn't expect. It was Mr. Dalvin.
Oh.
Wait a minute.
I don't know who that is.
The Jodeci brother.
Really?
Wow. I did not know that. See, I didn't know that. Yeah, that's what's up.
I knew it was someone off the cuff, but I didn't remember it being that off the cuff. But yeah, Mr. Dalvin.
Wow.
So yeah.
That's a jewel right there. I didn't know that.
It wouldn't be such a surprise if it was Devontae, because he was obviously the producer for Jodeci, but no, it's Mr. Dalvin.
That's wild.
Yeah. So yeah. Here you go.
Wow. Now it all makes sense now, you know what I mean? It all makes sense with the whole Jodeci and Raekwon and Ghost connection with the Freaking You remix. It all makes sense now.
What's up, y'all? Yeah. You got stats like the International House of Pancake. Man makes motion in bed. Watch it stand straight your fat body. Come and build with guard body. Harley and chicken heads, fake jacks. Ride by, use a cover girl. Living well late. Watch the chrome spin gorilla grill. Check out the $1 million lady. She spin brothers with all the wind. Baby girl slide in. Let the legs fall like a massage the skin. What's your name, Lex? Last name Diamond, icy earring. What's your occupation? Crazy rhyming. You's a queen killer, so I'ma feel you like Exo. Who and Jodeci is like cousin. You see me posted at the guard park. Sweat dripping on my fly shit. Rolling with some $1,000 links on. Hey yo, shorty got money in the stand.
Every time I close my eyes, I wake up feeling so horny. Can't get you out of my mind. Sexy was all I need.
You know what I mean? I used to have the jumper. I used to have the jumper with Jodeci on it. You know what I mean? Like what a man, a 15-year-old man, 16-year-old man with a Jodeci jumper on. You know what I mean? Jodeci top on. A man walking. You know what I mean? You know, it was like in school. It was own clothes day, right? You could wear your own clothes, right?
Yeah.
You didn't wear a uniform. You know what I mean? Like in the UK anyway, you had to wear a uniform, but then you had like own clothes day. So me like an idiot, decided to wear a Jodeci jumper on, because at the back is the Wu-Tang symbol on it, right? With Raekwon and Ghost on the back. So that was a real reason why I bought the Jodeci jumper. Nice. Females ain't seen what's on the back. They saw what's on the front. I nearly got my ass whooped by females, man, for wearing that top.
Wow, that's wild.
You know what I mean?
See, I'm glad I picked this song up, because now we all learn new things.
It's true. Mr. Dalvin, you know, raw.
I was saying, you must have not been on yet, John. I was saying when we first started that was the first track that really grabbed me.
Oh, okay, cool.
When I heard the album, because of the obviously the album's based a lot on that film, The Killer, the John Woo film.
Yeah.
The Chow Yun Fat film. So yeah, with that little I played for him and he isn't here, at the beginning. It just, brought me back to The Killer and I was like, yeah, this is the track. And then obviously you got the thunder and you got Raekwon's anger that he's been robbed, and then the Blue Raspberry starts singing, and then the beat comes in. It's just like, that's a great track.
It's chilling, man. Yeah, there's so many good tracks on this, but that one just stood out to me,
and that was another track as well, because it's such a laid back track in itself, but they're talking so much hard stuff on the beat. I think that they started that a lot as well. I think. I mean, rapping like really sort of hardcore lyrics over really, really, really soft beats. I don't think people were doing that a lot before that on the East Coast. Anyway. I mean, West Coast has always been hard stuff over laid back beats, but on the East Coast it was hard stuff over hard beats. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah.
You know what I mean? I think Wu-Tang was a big part of that becoming popular, because obviously they started so many things, like nobody had nicknames before them, and kind of stuff. So yeah, but it's they're just trailblazers, and so much.
Yeah, I mean that's what I'm saying. Like you hear all these rappers and groups saying, "Oh, we changed the game," but no, Wu-Tang literally changed.
Actually changed the game. Yeah.
They actually changed the game. You know what I mean? So, first group to with their deals that have where they could go solo to different labels. Nobody had ever done that before. It's always been you're the group.
What about NWA? And what about NWA?
No, I mean but what I'm saying is those deals were really lucrative though, too. You know what I'm saying? Like they were really lucrative at the time, and for that many people, like 9 people in the group to do that, I mean, you would think that. I think even when they originally were going to sign, they just assumed, oh, we're going to get all the individuals too because we have the group. They're like, no, we want to have it where we can go individually where we want to go. And that was, to me, like for that big a size, that many artists, it was definitely changing time. For sure.
I always wonder 2 things. I always wonder if there hadn't been so much internal beefing with some of the guys and Power and all of that, where they would have gone from there. And the other one, of course, one of the biggest questions in hip hop, I think, what if RZA's basement never got flooded? I mean, Jesus.
I want to hear that. I want to hear the deck record. I want to hear the deck record, like the real version.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
You know what's wild about the whole flood situation, right? Raekwon's album turned out so incredible. But Inspector Deck album, is RZA trying to tell me that, because I think it happened to Method Man as well. So is RZA basically trying to tell us that Inspector Deck and Method Man was meant to come out first before Ray? Because Ray's album was off the hook. Method Man had to be redone, kind of thing. And Inspector Deck was meant to come out next.
Yeah.
But ODB survived it.
Yeah.
Well, I think that might have been the order. It might have been Method Man, then Inspector Deck, then Dirty, then Ray, then Jizza, then Ghost. I think that might have been the order, the original order. That's what it sounds like to me.
I think Deck was going to come out early, for sure. I think if the flood didn't happen, I think he would have came out early, 100%.
Damn, man. Damn. I know.
Yeah, that sucks. But
yeah, the flood is a wounder. You know what I mean? Because, going off topic a little bit, when Tales from the Hood came out, the soundtrack.
Oh, man.
Inspector Deck had that tune, Let Me At 'Em, still one of my favorite ever Inspector Deck tracks. And that used to get me angry,
Oh,
That tune, let me at him!
And as well, the high school high, the semi-automatic rap.
Yes.
Don't forget Sunset Park, Motherless Child, with Ghostface and Raekwon as well.
Yeah.
Yep.
I love that album. That's my favorite Ghostface album, Iron Man. I just love
Iron
it.
Man. That's a great album. Great album.
Iron
I love it.
Man.
A lot of people go for Supreme Clientele, and I understand because that album
I'm
is
a Supreme
amazing.
Clientele guy.
You know what I mean?
Yeah, I love that one.
For me, you know, Supreme Clientele is like 98.5, and like Iron Man is 99. It's just,
yeah, they're close. I agree. They're close. They're real close.
Something about Iron Man, just for me, it's just, you know, the way.
I always give a little bit to like. I always give a little bit more credence to the like more the originals too. If I had to like choose between, I usually give the up to the first one that came, just because it was the first. You know, if you had to like pick hairs, you know what I mean?
Yeah. I mean, it's not always the case, because I like It Was Written more than I like Illmatic, as much as I love it. You know what I mean? Again, might be an unpopular opinion, but for me,
I feel you on that.
Because I understand the impact that Illmatic made, but I think then he was a lot more confident when he was going into It Was Written, because Illmatic was just like, let me see what I can do. Do you know what I mean? He just managed to get all these, you know, dope beats together and made a dope album. I love the album. It Was Written just
they're both great. They're both really good.
I understand.
It's a better album. Do you know what I mean?
I understand where you're coming from, because that's how I feel with The Chronic, and I love the fuck out of The Chronic. It was a part of my childhood growing up, but I'm gonna always pick 2001 simply because that sound made me what I am today. It holds something a hell of a lot more to me than The Chronic does, and I love The Chronic. Don't get me wrong, I always go back to it, but the way to me, it's like Dr. Dre just took that sound to a completely different level.
I mean, production wise, it's night and day.
And he moved from the production side to the mixing and mastering side, and it made people look at hip hop a hell of a lot different. And when you listen to, say, a Steel DRE, that shit sound like it just came out. That's the brilliance of it. So that's why I always gravitated towards 2001 than Chronic, and I love Chronic. Always got to point that out because I love it.
Of course, yeah. Again, when we say these things, we're not disrespecting the other.
Yeah,
just kind of like
Seriously, I think still DRE. I think still DRE in like 300 years' time, people will be playing that track like Dr. Dre's Beethoven.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah, it's great.
You know what I mean?
It's like choosing your favorite kid, man. You can't do it, man. When it comes to the Chronic, both the Chronic albums.
I don't think I've ever met anyone from anywhere that doesn't like Still DRE. That's heard it.
Yeah.
Do you know what I mean?
It's
serious.
My mother-in-law likes that song. Do you know what I mean?
It's crazy how it is, right?
She's a 60-year-old white woman. She loves that song.
I mean, it's crazy. Like like you guys were saying, like when they played that Super Bowl, everybody knew what it was. Whether you knew if it was Dre or not, everybody knew that song because of the riff and because it's like so iconic.
The way those keys hit, it's brilliant.
Yeah,
I can go on and on with it, but I'm not.
I know,
I know. I totally understand. You get it.
Yeah. Well, you know what, Big O. You know what, Big O. That's the people's fault. They didn't put their votes in. If they put their votes in for 2001, that would be the one we'd be talking about right now.
Oh,
but hey, it's still
they're both great. They're both great.
You know what I mean? The way you guys talk about the Chronic and 2001 is all the same way I feel about 36 Chambers and Wu-Tang Forever, to be honest. You know what I mean?
Yeah. Oh, yeah. That's very close.
You know what I mean?
Comparison. Yep.
Yeah, man. No doubt, man.
I know what you're saying. I just like, for me, like I was saying before, like I just love just that when RZA was in this mode of this like gritty, like trash can rap production, like, you know what I mean? Like it was just so raw and basement feel. I don't know. It's just something magical about that to me. You know what I mean? Like I like Forever. I like 2001. Like sonically, like how clear and crisp all the instruments are and the instrumentation, but there's just something about that basement raw. And then also, like you guys were saying before about like the collaborations, like you can feel in 36 Chambers how close they were together. You know what I mean? How they were collaborating with each other. There was you could tell how tight knit they were on that record, as opposed to Forever, where we all know is at times disjointed. You know what I mean? So you can totally hear that too. And I think people gravitate to that, you know, subliminally as well.
But you know, a funny thing about, while we're on the subject of collaborations, I wanted to take that and take it to record labels and executives. Now, people can say whatever the hell they want about Suge Knight, and you are right to say whatever you want about Suge Knight. But one thing I have to give him on this, when it came down to him executive producing and making sure these producers put and artists put these albums together, he always knew how to track and how to sync up the album so it can just flow beautifully. He always knew who to which engineers to get to make the albums just sound crisp and pop out at you. Perfect example on that is when I heard All Eyes on Me. Even when you hear the original before the remaster, the way that album was mixed, and this is what, late 95, 96 when this album came out. It didn't sound like your typical rap album.
The quality was crazy.
The quality was crazy. And one thing that I never heard in a rap album growing up, I didn't hear sounds panning from left to right until I was listening to disc 2 of All Eyes on Me, Holla at Me, that record. When I was listening to how it was mixed and how certain sounds would just pan and swing around from left to right, I was like, okay, this is something different. I've never experienced that. You'll hear that in R&B, but you wouldn't really hear that in hip hop.
Powerful, man.
Yeah.
Powerful. Yo, Shad. You said you may have questions for us regarding Only Built for Cuban Links. We may have covered some of those already, but if you would.
You talked about remixes. You talked about remixes earlier. Can it all be simple? That's a remix.
Yeah.
So what's the original? What's the original for that?
Can it be also simple?
And which track is better?
Me personally, I'm gonna always love the original 36 Chambers, and the reason why is because I love the fuck out of Ghostface verse.
Oh yeah, he crushed that.
He killed it. Like, and don't get me wrong, I love the remix on Only Built for Cuban Links, but it's not the original one on 36 Chambers. Ghostface, he was the star of that record.
Ghostface was a mind opener for me, because obviously, you know, being from the UK, and well, not being from the UK, but not being from where they're from, you know, obviously when Ghostface first came out, he put a lot of slang into his records, and I've never heard any of it before. I didn't know what the hell he was talking about half the time. It made me go and investigate what he was talking about, and how deep he goes. Like, when you understand what he's saying, and you know, the left turns he takes. You know, you throw a word in, and you think it's just a word that he's thrown in, but then you go and investigate, and it's actually saying something really deep. You know what I mean? It's like it just opened my mind so wide, because I've never been introduced to it. Well, apart from, you know, obviously, you know, growing up with, you know, Rakim and Big Daddy Kane and, you know, Lakeem Shabazz and, you know, Public Enemy, Professor Grey and all that kind of stuff. You hear it, but you don't really, they never explicitly sort of, you know what I mean? But Ghostface hid it in his slang as well and made you go and investigate. So then you go and find out the whole thing. You know what I mean? So it was really deep for me. And I remember at that time, where I used to live in London, a couple of brothers used to sell The Voice outside the local train station. So I would go and talk to them about it, and they'd explain stuff to me as well. So then that gave me an even deeper knowledge of what, you know, Ghost and the rest of them were saying. So that was a when Wu-Tang first came in, that was a big eye opener for me. Really,
the slang was crazy.
I want to ask something, because I mean, seeing how we all love Raekwon, Only Built for Cuban Links, I just wanted to know, you know, everybody in this chat, what was the first song that you heard that made you fall in love with hip hop?
Shit.
In love with hip hop. Set It Off, Big Daddy Kane.
Okay.
I'm glad you come back. I'm
I
glad
think I'm a little bit older than all of you lot, so.
Oh no, yeah.
So, I mean, don't get me wrong. I mean, I'm old enough to remember, you know, when I was 4 or 5 years old, and you know, my older cousins were playing Sugar Hill Gang and stuff like that, and you know, The Message and you know those tracks. And then I got a little bit older, and obviously, like, you know, Walk This Way was on the TV all the time, and blah blah blah. And it was like, okay, but that was just like songs that I'd heard on the radio, because I'm from a Caribbean family, so when I was growing up, it was reggae almost exclusively.
Yeah.
And then my older cousins, like I said, started getting into, because you know they like to break dance and stuff like that. But when I found hip hop for myself, Big Daddy Kane.
Nice.
Especially Set It Off at the time. I mean, I'd heard Raw, and I was like, yeah, but then I heard Set It Off, and it was just like, oh, the beat. You know what I mean? Because it's obviously faster paced, so he's showing out more on the track with his lyrical skill as well compared to Raw. Do you know what I mean? So that track for me, that was the track that I was just like, this is my shit. This is my shit.
Perfect,
I know that this is my shit for the rest of my life. You know what I mean?
I feel you on that, man.
That's one for me.
I'd go. It was 94, so I remember, man, because he had these discs, now hits back in the day. This was the 94 version, and Snoop Dogg, What's My Name was on there. That was on there. Saturday nights, Whitfield, and all that. You know, that's one. That was a banger. Admit it was a banger, man. Come on, man, it was a banger.
It's still with us.
A good tune, man.
Don't Speak.
Anyone that knows me knows how eclectic my taste is. So a good tune is a good tune.
There you go. Gwen Stefani, Don't Speak was one of the tracks as well.
Yeah, great tune.
But the Snoop Dogg one, I heard that, and because I was a kid, I must have been 94. I can't even work that out now. But the whole bow wow wow yippee yo, that part when that came in, and I'm just jumping up and down, bow wow wow yippee yo. So that hooked me, and then eventually, it was the Doggy Style album was the first album I heard, and then from there I'm just like, wow, what is this I'm listening to? I know I shouldn't be listening to this, but because I wasn't of age, but yeah.
That's a good one, man. That's a good one.
So yeah, Snoop Dogg's to blame, basically.
Okay.
Snoop Dogg.
All right, cool. For me, real quick. Back then, and I heard a lot of songs on the radio, and didn't really know who they were. You know what I mean? I just liked tunes, just didn't know who they were. Just was unfamiliar. You know what I mean? It's not until like you watch like MTV Raps, and then I can match the name with the song or whatever, the bass and whatnot. Mine's an interesting one though. Still, mine's an interesting one because I didn't know them names, but then came the Intelligent Hoodlum. What the thing called?
Cause it's the joy and pain, sunshine and rain. As the world turns, life remains the same. Return of the life, return of the life, return of the life, return of the life. Yeah.
That's the one that did it for me. That's the one that did it. That's the one that made me think, all right, this is where I belong. Hip hop. You know what I mean? It was an episode of MTV. No, it wasn't even an episode of MTV Raps. It was, and it wasn't. Someone had it on tape. So y'all know about MTV Raps. The unwritten rule was you had a VHS tape and you always taped MTV Raps. That was the rules back then. If you follow the rules,
that was universal everywhere. Yeah.
It was a crime scene. You go into jail. If you didn't have a VHS tape, not taping MTV Raps back then, your ass is going to jail. That was the rules, right? So I'm watching back a cassette tape of your MTV Raps. That tune happened to come out. Intelligent Hoodlum, Return of the Life. I don't think that's the proper title of it. I can't remember the proper title of it, but that's the one that made me fall in love with hip hop right there and then. Boom.
All right.
That's the one. Now, I do want to go back to Shad's question before about the remix or the original of kind of your like the original. Obviously, is classic beyond compare, but I gravitate personally more to the remix. For two reasons. One, I love the skit that comes before it. Yeah, let's go over there. Let's go over there. I know he ain't down with the team. Yeah, what's that in your hand, man? What's that in your hand? Come here. So they're coming up with gunshots and everything. You know what I mean? Like, and God's like, oh, niggas trying to assassinate me, man. He's like, bro. The beat was switched. RZA changed up the chords or whatnot, right? I was like, yeah, this is a nice refreshing change. That's reason number one. Reason number two is because, hey, Lauryn Hill salutes, but Lauryn Hill took the original, turned it into X Factor, and now people look X Factor is a wicked piece of tune, but people act like it was all about X Factor and Can It Be Also Simple didn't exist. Yeah. I don't like that.
Understandable. I can fully understand that.
Yeah, man.
But see, I didn't get into mine. Like my first, what made me fall in love, I was a child when this happened, but it's gonna always hold a special place to me. What made me fall in love with hip hop was when my mom and we was living in an apartment before my brother and sister was born, and every Friday night, it'd be a hot mix on the radio. She'll be in the middle of the floor in the living room, and when Chub Rock, Treat 'Em Right came on, that was it for me. That song made me fall in love with it. We was just dancing. This 1990, and it was just me and my mom dancing in the living room. This before furniture and everything. We just moved into the place, and that just did it for me.
1990 is such a great year for music in general, not just in general. 1990 is an elite year. It really is. So much good music in that year.
That's what I was gonna say, because for me, I remember I didn't even like hip hop music at all, because in the 90s there was so many good like alternative and grunge bands, and like rock music was also in the golden era, you know what I mean, for a lot of people. So I was listening to more of that, and then I remember somebody actually giving me a cassette and showing me the Mystery of Chex box and my Wu-Tang Clan. And I had never heard hip hop, rock. I've never heard a sound like that. Just like all the different tones and the production and all the different personalities coming together, and then the lyrical content and all the kung fu and all these samples, and it was a musical overload for me. And I couldn't help but get hooked. And I was like, yeah, I'm supposed to like rock music, I think. But no, I don't know. Now I think I might be leaning more towards this, because that record just like totally made me fall in love. And then I just fell down the Wu-Tang rabbit hole from that. And then I just branched out from there.
You have to give props to those hip hop groups or artists that managed to cross over into the rock genre. Do you know what I mean? Like Cypress Hill, Wu-Tang Clan, and Boys, and you know what I mean? For them to, because especially like Cypress Hill and Wu-Tang, they made hip hop. It was just hip hop. You know what I mean? They weren't trying to appeal to rock crowds, but rock crowds just embraced them for whatever.
Tried to claim it.
Yeah, and it worked. Do you know what I mean? It wasn't like when rock crowds started embracing them, you could kind of see why. Do you know what I mean? It was it's baffling, but it's great.
It was just such a unique sound that you couldn't help but be intrigued. And like you said, like, oh man, I gotta hear more of this. Like, who are these people? And then you like find out all the different members, and you hear their solo albums, and then you just kind of like fall in love with it.
That time was great for me, because I am into my rock music as well. So for me, I could see it from kind of both sides, kind of like meeting in the middle, and it was just so good.
it was.
You guys talk about sounds and that, like, you lot may disagree, but the best beat is Ice Cream. Or we're gonna have a different feeling about that. Can we all commercially
agree? Ice Cream because of the way
that's a great beat, especially live. Oh my god, that song live.
Ooh, damn. Yeah, that would go hard. Yeah. Oof, them drums. Oof, yeah. Nah, RZA, nah, he killed it on that beat still. He killed, certainly just comes on, man. First few chords, you're just like, wow, you're just mesmerized. I love that beat still. But it's one thing as well, actually. Does anyone know, like, why Meth's, the hook sounds the way it does? Like, it doesn't sound like it was, it sounded like it was recorded on the equivalent of the phone, like, today. Does anyone else think that?
On ice cream.
The way the chorus comes through, it doesn't sound, it sounds weird compared to everyone else's verses.
I've never really thought about it, I'll be
Me
honest.
either.
Okay,
yeah.
I think it was the hook was just so catchy.
Through headphones and see if I can catch what you mean.
Yeah. Go back and listen to it. Yeah, it definitely sounds. It sounds like you were saying before about another track. It sounds off. The chorus sounds. Yes, definitely sounds like it was recorded differently to everything else.
But if I had to pick a beat on that album, I would probably choose Wu Gambino's.
Yes, that's a banger as well. That's another banger as well.
Wu Gambino's a banger.
Yeah.
That beat is just man, yeah.
No,
I just have to add again. We were talking about verbal intercourse earlier. I love Nas's verse on that, but I don't think that's the best Nas Wu-Tang verse. I love his verse on "Let My Killers Live" on the W in 2000. That's a better verse for me.
Who had the best verse? Who had the best verse on this album?
On this album.
On this album, for me, Inspect the Deck on Guillotine, I couldn't get enough of it.
That's a good one.
As a matter of fact, I'll say Guillotine.
That goes. I know we were talking about before. That Ghost Criminology. This is hard. That he came real hard on that.
On Criminology.
Yeah, he came real hard on that.
Yeah.
What about Ghostface on Wisdom? Is it Wisdom?
I've got to kind of go the other way on that. Again, I think my favorite verse is. I think that's the reason why I love North Star Jewels so much, because I wasn't expecting the verse, and when it came in, it was just laid back. It was just like, I've done the hard work. This is me signing off. Do you know what I mean? This track wasn't meant to be there on the original album. This is just me signing off with some more dopeness. You know what I mean? It's not very long, but there you go. So for me, North Star Jewels, his verse on that.
Nice.
Yeah, man. Yeah.
I'm gonna say I'm tied between Wisdom Body, Ghostface verse on that, and then the track right after that, Spot Rushers, Raekwon's verse.
Yeah, that's a good one too.
I was between them two, because Ray went hard still. Ray was like, okay, I've had enough playing now. My album's not missing one thing. A track like this, and he killed it, man. I don't know what he had for breakfast that day.
Because he usually to get one near enough every track, right? And that one was done that was done deliberately, where Ghost ride the whole track by himself on Wisdom Body, and then Raekwon went for Dollar on Spot Rushers. That was deliberate one. You know what I mean? I never really thought about it up until now. You know what I mean? So yeah, man, that's what's up right there. Yo, we've got like a couple of minutes left of this. I really appreciate everyone coming on this discussion right here. You know what I mean? I didn't expect it to go this long, but then again, at the same time, I should not be surprised. You know what I mean? This is like 18 tracks. It is like over an hour of incredible content. You know what I mean? Man, real quick, Double J, plug your radio show, man. You know what I mean?
Same, man.
Where they can find you on the radio show, how they can listen in.
Fridays, 10 p.m. till 12 a.m. Go to www.blackcultureradio.com. You can play it from there. I'm JJ Music Lover 75 on all social media platforms. I do little snippets of music stuff because, like I said, I've got a very eclectic taste in music. So there's obviously a lot of hip hop on there, but there's a lot of other stuff on there as well. I just like to do little bits. Music is music, and I love it all. So yeah. That's me. History hip hop with JJ.
Fantastic. Big O, real quick, man. Where can I find your music, man? And let people know all of that stuff, man. You gotta support that.
Yeah, you can find my music everywhere. I'm on Spotify, I'm on Tidal, I'm on YouTube, Apple Music. You can find me on Twitter as @the_real_Big O. You can also find me on Twitter at big capital O, all one word, and also on Bandcamp. just big O.
Fantastic, man. Y'all know where to find me and Shad. And big ups to our guest, Jon Drewes, as well, man. Salute. Yo, people, we are out. Yo, we're going to sign off any second now. People, what album do you want us to reminisce next? In June. Let us know, man. We'll give you the vote. We'll give you the selection. You let us know which album that's going to be, man. Until that time, gone, done, finish, over, boom. Get out! What do you mean?
94, shaking against the wall. Yo, what do you believe in? Heaven or hell? You don't believe in heaven cause we're living in hell. What do you believe in? Heaven or hell? You don't believe in heaven cause we're living in hell. So what's your life?
What a chamber. Open with mad strangers. Yeah, you know how it runs, baby. Straight up, yo. Money, clothes, designer hoes and shows, y'all. That's how it goes. Whatever.
What do you believe in? Heaven or hell? You don't believe in heaven cause we're living in hell. So what's your life? What do you say to you know, son? Heaven or hell? So you don't believe in heaven cause we're living in so away. What do you believe in? Heaven or hell? This is real. Believe what I'm saying? It's all about a $1 for law. $100 in